Hi everyone, welcome back. Dr. Glassmoyer here. Today, as promised, we're going to start talking about some of the very specific tactics that are used to control you and to control the dynamics in the relationship in a toxic relationship with emotionally abusive men. The two of these that I'm going to talk about today are just two that can completely shut down the development of any emotional intimacy, real connectedness in a relationship. And these two are called withholding and countering. Now, there is a fantastic book. If you haven't already read it, I highly suggest that you do, by a wonderful author by the name of Patricia Evans, called The Verbally Abusive Relationship. So after today's video, you might want to think about checking that out, getting it, using it along with these videos so that you can really continue to educate yourself about these things. So let's talk a little bit about withholding. Withholding is basically when he holds in his thoughts, his feelings, his emotions, his dreams, specifics about his day, what's going on in his life. And usually this doesn't show up in the beginning of the relationship. Remember, in the beginning, he is watching you, mimicking emotions, learning about you and what makes you tick. And so it may appear that he's very engaged, telling you about himself, asking questions about you. Usually the withholding really starts to show up somewhere around 4 to 6 months in a relationship. And sometimes this will be where you simply ask him about his day, for instance. And rather than telling you, you might get a pat answer like, oh, same as they all are. It's work, just work. I was on the phone all day long. But that's it. He's not telling you any specifics, what he liked, what he didn't, who he talked to, how things are going. He's just really giving you crumbs. And if you are a person who is really trying to engage with him, this can be incredibly frustrating and often draw you into where you're asking him more, you're giving him more attention, and he's just kind of holding back. Another way that this shows up is that if you are talking with him, he might, right in the middle of the conversation, pick up a book or a magazine, watch the television instead of making eye contact with you, say something like, go on, I'm listening, when everything about his body language, everything about his demeanor is telling you that he's not. And that whatever else he's looking at is a lot more important than you or what you have to say to him. So he's really beginning to send these mixed messages. After a while, you'll start to notice a real repetitive nature in this, where he has his go-to. He's withholding from you. You know that he's not engaging, and yet likely he's telling you he is. He might even start to say things like, you know, I am talking. I don't know what you want. Or, you never let me talk, so why try? Or flip it around. You don't tell me anything about you. So whatever it is, you can really feel these things in the pit of your stomach. Like, he says he's engaging, he says he's listening, he says he cares, and yet his behavior doesn't match that. So that's withholding. The second one, call these two the dynamic duo, is countering. Countering is when he has a comeback for everything. Remember, we talked about this type of guy last time and how his approach to life is about powering over. Every human interaction, and thus every interaction with you, has a winner and a loser. So this can come out of nowhere and be incredibly frustrating because the message is what you're saying isn't true, what you're feeling isn't true, what you believe in isn't right. He literally counters anything and everything that you begin to say. One person told me she was looking at a travel magazine. She had lived in Hawaii for many years, and she said, oh, I love Hawaii. Really was fun that time we went to Hawaii. Maybe we should look at going back there. And his response was, you don't love Hawaii, honey. Your favorite is Mexico. We've had the best vacations in Mexico. I don't know why you're talking about Hawaii like it's your favorite. And a little bit baffled, she responded by saying, "But it really is my favorite. I lived there for so many years. I have so many cherished memories. I love Hawaii." I don't know what you're talking about," he comes back with, getting increasingly frustrated. "You know, I know what you like, and you like Mexico. And I don't even know why you're talking about this. You like Mexico, I like Mexico. You know what? You don't know what you're talking about." So the message here is that he knows her better than she knows herself. She can say, "I feel sad." You're not sad, you're angry. She could say, "My favorite color is blue." No, it's not. Look at your closet. Everything in your closet is black or green or gray or whatever it is. So he's intent on countering whatever it is that she has to say. In Patricia Evans' book, she gives this fantastic example of this woman who decided that she was just going to follow along with the conversation. And when he countered her, she was going to then agree with him and see what happened. This was a conversation that, if it weren't so pathetically sad an indicator of the relationship, would be quite funny. They're talking about a lamp. And he talks about the color or whatever, and she says, "Yeah, I remember it more to be this color." "No, it's more blue." "Yeah, you're right, it's blue." And he says something like, "I don't know why you say it's blue. It wasn't blue at all. It was, you know," so you get the idea. It's this back and forth, stop, 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 stop. So any expression that you have gets stopped. Any sharing of yourself is countered because he knows you better. And he's going to tell you what you think, what you believe, what you feel. And he's going to do it with such tenacity, such force, such unrelenting consistency that after a while, between the withholding and the countering, there really isn't any give and take in the relationship at all. So these two things, keep a lookout for. Usually you're going to feel them in the pit of your stomach before you actually identify them. And remember that an emotionally abusive guy in a toxic relationship is not going to validate what he's doing. The only person that can take responsibility for identifying what is happening is you. Emotional abuse is not something that others can see from the outside. It is really measured by the impact that it has on the individual over a period of time. So when you are constantly being countered, when information is being withheld, when the relationship feels just inherently confusing and painful, one of the reactions that many people have is to go inward, where you do have some control, and think, okay, well, if I just explain myself better, then he's not going to do that. He's going to listen to me. Or if I tell him, well, this is really a feeling, and you know, you can't tell somebody else what they feel, good luck, because no matter what tactic you take, it's going to be blocked and blocked and blocked. So I really encourage you to send me some comments. Tell me your stories. Tell me about withholding and countering and how it has shown up in your relationship. It's really helpful to other people to have examples of these things so that they can identify and get clear and know what's happening in their relationship. So next week we're going to continue to talk about some of these tactics. There are about 18 of them that are easily identifiable. Not all guys will use all of them. Usually there's a handful that they have as a go-to. But the more you know, then the less you question yourself, the less confusion you have, and the more you are able to have that wisdom inside that tells you, if I feel demeaned, I'm being demeaned. If I feel put down, I'm being put down. If I feel like what I'm saying isn't being respected, I'm not being respected. Rather than continuing, as loving, caring women often do, to simply try to explain yourself better, to make it better for him, to be more loving, whatever. So remember, the more you educate yourself, the more you will be able to protect yourself and learn how to respond to these things in a way that will make a difference, give you clarity, protect you whether you're staying in the relationship for a time or whether you're leaving the relationship. The more you know, the better you are able to respond to these things. So remember, I have been where you are. I understand what you're going through, and I am here to help. So keep those messages coming, and welcome to the many people who have joined our Facebook community this week. Welcome to all. Love hearing from you. Have a great Saturday, and I'll see you back next week.